Chapter 459. This time, Mr. Numbers intentionally emphasized the word, husband. Hearing those words, Shi Yao's hands trembled, and she nearly dropped her phone. What should I do now? I've heard everything that I shouldn't have, and everything that I should have heard. It seems like there isn't a single word that I should listen to. Should I just run away with the wind? But isn't that a little inappropriate? After all, the ones who were talking about Mr. Numbers first were her and Expert. Expert doesn't have any morals, but I'm different from him. I'm a person with morals. Besides, Mr. Numbers had given her so many red packets, brought her to eat chicken dinners many times, and more importantly, he was the one who helped her obtain Grandpa Lin's inkstone. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao gritted her teeth and forced herself to speak up. God, Tycoon, I was just joking earlier. Let me tell you, you're the one who's standing in my heart. Actually, I don't admire Jeeping at all. No. It's the girl that you wanted to confess to. I was just teasing Expert back then. You should know that we're a family in the game world. So how could I possibly side with an outsider? Rejecting you is equivalent to rejecting me. I can only say that that girl doesn't know what's good for her. What bad taste. It's. Shi Yao was stumped for words. She repeated the words "it's" several times before she finally spat out the words, tofu pudding. 11111 didn't say a word, but his message appeared on the screen of the game. ? Shi Yao understood what he meant, and she knew that he was doubtful about the tofu pudding she was referring to. Thus, she quickly explained it to 11111. Tofu pudding means that tofu has brains, but she doesn't. In the instant that Shi Yao said those words, she heard Mr. Numbers inadvertently letting out a very soft, seemingly unable to hold back his laughter. Does this mean that my remedy policy is effective? With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao hurriedly added, God, think about it. You're such an outstanding person. Do you think that you won't be able to meet a good girl? So, don't be sad over this, don't doubt your life, and don't fall into despair. There's no need for that. Besides, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Why do you have to fall in love with a simple-minded man? Think about it. A person who can give up mountains of delicacies, seafood snacks, and fruits, is he not stupid? I'm telling you, you can't have this kind of person. It will affect the intelligence of future generations. When Lin Jiej first heard the words lack of foresight and lack of appreciation for goods, he could still relate to them. However, the more he listened to them, the more he couldn't bear to continue listening to them. Soft Bonjour is ruthless when it comes to scolding me. He didn't know if one day in the future, when she found out that less than 111,111 was him and that the person she was cursing with righteous indignation was herself, would she blame him? Or would she blame him? With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiej couldn't help but speak up. There's plenty of grass in life, but I just like this simple-minded girl. Shi Yao blinked her eyes in confusion. He didn't manage to stop himself for a moment, and the remedial policy was too nutritious. Shi Yao blinked her eyes once more before saying, Actually, it's actually quite adorable for a girl to be a little stupid and have some flaws. In any case, no matter what decision you make, I'll support you unconditionally. If you've decided on her, I'll wish you all red dates, peanuts, longans, and lotus seeds. Chapter 460. Less than 111,111 Shi Yao replied with A second later, she realized that Mr. Numbers didn't seem to understand the meaning behind her words, so she hurriedly added, That's right, I wish for you to have a son soon. Before Shi Yao could finish her words, an announcement sounded from 111,111 side. Attention passengers on flight CA0001. The flight from Shanghai to Shenzhen will be boarding soon. Please make haste and board the plane. Shi Yao's words suddenly froze for a moment. After listening to the announcement, she asked curiously, You aren't in Beijing at the moment? Less than 111,111, less than 111,111, I have some matters to attend to. I've been in Shanghai for the past few days, but I'm heading to Shenzhen today. Isn't Mr. Numbers explaining things a little too clearly to me? It's almost as if he's a boyfriend reporting his whereabouts to his girlfriend. Shi Yao was taken aback by her own thoughts and she quickly replied with an "oh." On Mr. Number's side, someone seemed to be urging him to board the plane. Shi Yao could only vaguely make out a single word, and it sounded like yes and DUI at the same time. While she was still in a daze, Mr. Numbers seemed to have switched off the microphone, and the other side fell silent. Roughly half a minute later, the microphone icon behind Mr. Numbers' profile picture lit up. "I have to exit the game now?" "Less than 111,111, replied with an "oh" again. After a moment of thought, she added, "Goodbye then." Less than 111,111 didn't say a word. He must have found a quieter place to hide. His voice only reached Shi Yao's ears through the earpiece. Shi Yao waited for a moment, but Mr. Numbers still didn't show any signs of saying a word. Thinking that he might have already exited the game, she was just about to do the same when Mr. Numbers' voice sounded in her earpiece. "Yao Shi?" His tone sounded a little serious, and Shi Yao couldn't help but feel nervous. "Less than 111,111, I'm in Shenzhen right now, and I'll be staying there until around the 23rd or 23rd of next month before I can return to Beijing." How long he's staying in Shenzhen doesn't seem to have anything to do with me. Why does he have to be so specific with me? The feeling of a boyfriend reporting his whereabouts to his girlfriend surfaced in Shi Yao's mind once more, and this time, it was even stronger than before. Shi Yao couldn't help but tighten her grip around her phone. Perhaps she was too sensitive? Shi Yao pondered for a moment before replying with an "oh." Then, she suddenly remembered that the 23rd of next month would be the finals of the SDL tournament for the game she played every day, PlayerUnknown's Battleground. Furthermore, it was going to be held in Shenzhen. Her Adonis, Legend, would be participating in it as well. She was still thinking that if her Adonis were to make it to the finals, she would head to Shenzhen to watch his match. With this thought in mind, Shi Yao exclaimed, "HM? I just realized it. Shenzhen. I was thinking of going to Shenzhen for 2 days next month." 111111. Yao loves ice cream. It's the SDL competition. If Legend makes it to the finals, I'll go and watch it. I wonder if I'll be able to buy a ticket. A while ago, Legend held a lucky draw on his Weibo account, and the prize is a ticket to the finals. I wonder if I'll win. 111111. Oh, 111111. Good luck then. Then, he went offline. Shi Yao stared blankly at the room where she was the only one online for a moment before going offline too. After Mr. Number's brief appearance that night, he didn't appear for a very long time. On the other hand, Lin Jie was still nowhere to be found. Chapter 461. Other than eating, sleeping, watching dramas, and gaming, Shi Yao's summer vacation finally reached its climax on the 1st of August. It was really a small climax. To Shi Yao, this small climax was even more exciting and thrilling than picking up a huge bag of snacks while she was walking. In truth, this small climax could have happened on the 31st of July. However, Shi Yao was simply too bored on the afternoon of the 1st of August, so she went to Weibo to kill some time. Then, she realized that there were 999 plus red notifications on her Weibo. The first thought that came to Shi Yao's mind was that she had hacked the Weibo account of a certain big account holder in her dream. She tapped into her personal page and confirmed that the Weibo username, Yao Loves Ice Cream, and her profile picture were both hers before she tapped into the notifications with a hint of unease. Most of them were from her. She scrolled through the screen for a while before she realized that the content of the notifications was mostly along the lines of, "Why didn't my Adonis choose me? I missed out on 10 billion. Hubby, you actually dote on another girl behind my back. Adonis? Hubby? Are they referring to me?" Shi Yao blinked her eyes in excitement. After tapping on the Weibo post, she realized that the Adonis and hubby that everyone was referring to was Legend. In truth, everyone's intention was to repost Legend's Weibo. As for Shi Yao, she was just basking in Legend's glory. HM? No. Adonis. Why is my Adonis me? Shi Yao hurriedly looked at the content that Legend had reposted, and she couldn't help but lower her head and kiss her phone screen in agitation. Out of the 100,000 plus reposts, she was actually chosen by Legend as the lucky one and won the ticket to the SDL finals. Just a while ago, she and Mr. Numbers were still wondering if she would win the lottery. Who could have thought that her dream would actually come true? Shi Yao excitedly read through the Weibo post several times. and her face couldn't help but redden a little. My Adonis actually chose me. There were so many girls reposting my Weibo post, but he just had to choose me. This must be fate arranged by the heavens. What was the saying again? The heavens were the best. Thus, she couldn't defy the heavens. She had to go to Shenzhen to see her Adonis. Could this be considered as the distance between her and her Adonis? Closing by a step? Would there be a second step, a third step, a fourth step, until the 99th step? With such thoughts in mind, Shuyao couldn't help but giggle uncontrollably. Her face reddened further, and her eyes glowed brightly. On the 6th of August, the SDL competition officially kicked off. Shuryao's daily routine of eating, sleeping, watching dramas, and playing games had turned into eating, sleeping, playing games, and watching the tournament. In other words, it could be said that she was watching her Prince Charming. The SDL competition was based on a point system. The first 10 matches were the qualifiers, and there were a total of 100 teams participating. After the qualifiers, the top 60 teams would proceed to the semi-finals and finals. As for the point system, it was calculated according to the chicken dinner rate and the number of kills. Of course, if you were killed, the corresponding points would be deducted. In this world, there was a kind of person whose existence was destined to shine, to be admired and envied. And Legend was such a person. Chapter 462. From the very first day of the tournament, his performance had been steady, so steady that it was as if he had activated a cheat. There wasn't the slightest flaw, and there wasn't the slightest mistake. There was even a match where 3 of his teammates died 10 minutes before the start of the game, leaving him alone. Even the commentators thought that AE Team's match was a close one, but the final outcome wasn't close at all. Rather, it was a dazzling one. Not only did Legend single-handedly enter the finals, but he even single-handedly annihilated the entire EK team with 4 survivors at the last moment. This match was very exciting, and also very exciting. Legend, who was already popular all over the country, climbed to the top of Weibo's trending searches after the tournament ended, and he gained countless fans. Legend hadn't posted on Weibo ever since Shuyao won the prize, but due to the ongoing tournament, his popularity soared. His Weibo post had more than 100,000 comments, causing Shuyao's Weibo to bask in the limelight as well. Even so, none of the comments were related to her. Shuyao rarely went on Weibo, but due to Legend, she liked to spend some time on Weibo when she had nothing better to do. Seeing more and more people calling Legend Adonis, hubby, and boyfriend, she couldn't help but sigh in distress. Her Adonis was being targeted by so many people. How stressful. But it was fortunate that she and her Adonis were fated to be together. Without any suspense, AE Team easily advanced to the finals with a score twice that of the second place. Before the tournament even started, Shuyao had already received a ticket to the finals, and she began making preparations for her trip to Shenzhen. She thought that there would be a lot of things to prepare for this long trip, such as plane tickets, hotel accommodations, and meals. In the end, 3 days before the finals, Shuyao received a call from the staff of AE Team. They told her that the lucky winner of the lottery this time would not only receive a ticket to the finals, but they had also arranged for their air tickets and accommodation as well. They hoped that she could provide an email address for them to send her the itinerary and address. It turned out that she had won a huge gift this time around. Shuyao happily told the staff her QQ email address, and it didn't take long for her to receive an email. She had a round-trip flight, a hotel address, and a taxi to the airport. Not only that, her flight check-in had been arranged in advance. She went from having a lot of things to preparing in advance to only needing to prepare herself. However, there was one thing that had to be mentioned. While Mr. Numbers and Lin Jiej were still missing in August, Shuyao made a new friend. This new friend was a male streamer who used the same platform as Legend. It was around the 7th or 8th of August that she met this new friend. On that day, when she was playing with Expert Juice, she was accidentally matched with a random person. This passerby was called Desolation Year. When Shuyao saw his name, her first thought was that he must be a cultured young man. But when the game started, Shuyao realized that the cultured young man was actually a PUBG who was full of sarcastic remarks. It hadn't even been 5 minutes since the game started, but Desolation Time. S-words had already amused Shuyao at least 10 times. Chapter 463. For example, when desolate year, ran out of bullets and was being chased by someone with a shotgun, he would yell, Mister, don't hit me, I'm pregnant. For example, when desolate year was shooting at a human snakeskin and was shot, he would say, please spare me, I'm the hope of our village. For example, when he accidentally bumped into someone while running from the blue circle, desolate year would say, I won't fight with you because I'm different from you. I'm here for a blind date, and I'm super sweet. For example, when desolate year killed someone, he would say, boss, your SF Express has arrived. Please sign here. Throughout the game, desolate year hadn't stopped talking at all. Shiryao couldn't help but ask, why are you talking to yourself all the time? Before desolate year could reply to her, expert of the monkeys had already replied to her, saying that they had probably been matched with a streamer. Desolate year replied to expert's words, saying that he was a streamer on a certain platform and that his username was desolate year, and that they were welcome to watch his livestream. It just so happened that Shiryao had downloaded the livestream, so after she died, she went to search for desolate year, and sure enough, she found his livestream. She even saw that her name had turned gray on his livestream page. Not everyone could match up to Legend. Desolate Year's popularity was far below Legend's, but in terms of the overall statistics of the platform, he could still be considered a big streamer. As Desolate Year was chatting with him through voice chat, his fans in his livestream room heard her voice, and quite a few of them were spamming the screen. Little Missy's voice sounds so nice. Hope that you can continue playing with Little Missy in the next round. It's because of Little Missy that I'm staying in Yin Yin's livestream room. Little Missy, is he talking about me? Shiryao secretly chuckled at the compliment before returning to the game. Perhaps to cater to his fans, Desolate Year really asked Shiryao if she wanted to join him for the next round. Desolate Year was a skilled gamer, and since Mr. Numbers wasn't around, Shiryao pondered for a moment before agreeing. Just like that, Shiryao, Juice, Expert, and Desolate Year spent the entire night playing. Before Shiryao went offline, she even added Desolate Year as a friend. Desolate Year's livestream time was very fixed. Every evening, it would be from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., which happened to coincide with Shiryao's gaming time. Thus, for the next 10 days or so, Desolate Years would join Shiryao and Juice's team almost every night as soon as she logged on. The more he played, the more familiar he became with it. So, sometimes, everyone would chat a little. Then, on the 20th, Desolate Year asked where Shiryao was from, and Shiryao replied that it was Beijing. Desolate Year remarked that it was a coincidence that he was also developing in Beijing at the moment. After which, Desolate Year asked Shiryao what she did for a living. Shiryao said that she was a student of G University. Desolate Year said that the world was really small, and his livestream company was located very close to G University. If they had the time, they could have a meal together. Shiryao hadn't thought about meeting the netizens yet, so she didn't respond to Desolate Year's words. Chapter 464. The first to send the message was Liu Binlai. In order to save on his phone bill, he used Xia Shangzhou's phone. After the message was sent, Xia Shangzhou snatched his phone back and began to type, Boss, you've been robbed. Liu Binlai snatched his phone back. Boss, Little Junior has been playing games with a streamer every day. Xia Shangzhou snatched his phone back. Boss, Little Junior is going to have an affair if you don't show up soon. In the blink of an eye, it was already the 23rd of August. As the tournament was to be held at night, Shiryao's flight was scheduled to take place at noon. Upon arriving at Shenzhen, the taxi driver arranged by Team AE was already waiting for her at the airport. After retrieving her luggage, Shiryao walked out of the airport, contacted the taxi driver, and headed straight to the hotel. The hotel was roughly a 5-minute walk away from the tournament venue. A moment after Shiryao checked in, she immediately started ordering takeout. After eating her fill, she recalled that her ticket to the finals was in the first row of the VIP zone, right in front of the stage. Perhaps, Legend would be able to see her as soon as he raised his head. Thus, Shiryao decided to take a bath and put on some light makeup before heading out to watch the tournament. By the time Shiryao arrived at the tournament venue, there was already a long queue at the entrance. It was fortunate that she had a ticket to the VIP zone, so there weren't too many people waiting for her. In just a few short minutes, she was able to enter the venue and find her seat. Yao felt that she was becoming more and more godly these days. There were a total of 240 seats on the massive stage, and they were divided into 60 teams. Putting aside the fact that Team AE was really right in front of her, what was even more amazing was that Legend's name was right in front of her. It was just as she had imagined in the hotel. Legend would be able to see her as soon as he raised his head. Even though the tournament hadn't started yet, and the professional players had yet to make their appearance, Yao's heart couldn't help but race as she stared at Legend's name. What should I do? My affinity with my Adonis is simply too miraculous. It was fortunate that she was smart enough to dress up before heading out. The tournament started at 7 p.m., and at around 6:40 p.m., the shoutcasters had already taken their positions and started making guesses about the tournament. At around 5:10 p.m., the shoutcasters announced the names of the participating teams and introduced their members and coaches one by one. AE team was the last to appear. Before the commentator had even announced the name of the team, the entire stadium was already in an uproar. As the members of AE team entered the stadium, the cheers and screams never stopped. Legend was the last to enter the stadium. When he appeared, the already enthusiastic atmosphere in the stadium became even more fervent. Legend wore a black mask that covered most of his face, just as he had done in his previous matches. Due to his tall stature, he had his head slightly lowered as he walked. Even though Yao couldn't see his face and expression clearly, she could still sense a sense of alienation and indifference from him. For some reason, Yao felt a little familiar with this feeling. Summer vacation support. Yilsu's team was number 1. Acceptance speech. Thank you, little fairies, it's Monday, and it's time for the event. 20 readers who leave a comment on this chapter will receive 2,000 book coins, and 3 readers will receive the same snacks as Yao. Chapter 465. For some reason, Yao felt a little familiar with this feeling. She tilted her head to the side and pondered for a moment, but she still couldn't make sense of it. After Legend sat down, he turned his gaze to the front. Adonis, is he looking at me? Yao's heart skipped a beat. Seeing that Legend was still looking at her, she couldn't help but lower her head in embarrassment. A moment later, she discreetly lifted her eyes to sneak a peek at Legend, only to realize that her Adonis was still looking in her direction. Yao's cheeks couldn't help but heat up. What should I do? My Adonis is staring at me. I'm so nervous. Yao gulped down a mouthful of saliva. A moment later, she mustered her courage and raised her head once more. This time, her eyes met with Legend's. Yao's nerves suddenly shot through the roof. She was clearly thinking of lowering her head to avoid her Adonis's gaze, but in her moment of helplessness, she blinked her eyes at Legend and flashed him a silly smile. Legend's gaze lingered on her face for a few seconds before shifting away. Her Adonis is finally not looking at me. She was a little disappointed, but at the same time, she heaved a sigh of relief. Yao was just about to raise her hand to soothe her heart when Legend raised his head once more, and without any warning, his eyes met hers once more. Yao panicked. Just like before, she blinked her eyes once more, and the smile on her face grew even more radiant. After which, Legend quickly retracted his gaze, and from the moment the match began, he didn't look at her once more. I feel so disappointed. Am I not beautiful and adorable enough? Why is my Adonis not looking at me anymore after taking 2 glances at me? Yao stared at Legend intently. Seeing that he wasn't looking at her for a long time, she couldn't help but puff up her cheeks. Then, Legend, who was seated on the stage, raised his hand, and the staff swiftly rushed to his side. Following which, the coach of AE team walked over with a baseball cap in hand. Legend took the cap and put it on his head without any hesitation. When he lowered his head to look at his phone, he happened to block Yao's line of sight. In the end, Yao could only stare at a black baseball cap with widened eyes. There were a total of 3 matches in the finals, and the point system was still the same. Perhaps Legend wasn't in a good state of mind, but in the first 5 minutes of the first match, he made a few mistakes and was frequently beaten down to critical health. Just as Yao's heart was about to leap up to her throat, Legend managed to turn the tables on a member of the HR team and barely escaped with his life. Countless screams rang out from the audience. Yao couldn't help but feel excited as well. Later on, Legend's condition became better and better. From the bottom of the rankings in the first game, he gradually entered the top 50, top 10, top 3. Finally, after AE Team's successful chicken dinner in the first game, he rose to first place. Throughout the entire match, Yao's eyes were glued to the screen. Every time she saw Legend's visuals, she would pay extra attention to them. Legend's movements were exceptionally fast. There was a door to the house, but he refused to leave. Instead, he chose to jump out of the window. This was especially so when he was sniping. The sight of him raising his gun ever so slightly was especially familiar to Yao. Frowning, she pondered for a moment before she suddenly thought of Mr. Numbers. Chapter 466. This was really weird. Her Adonis was such a good person, so why would she associate him with that venomous and vengeful 111,111? Could this be considered as insulting her Adonis? Besides, her Adonis turning into a woman. Yao couldn't help but shudder. That image was simply too beautiful. She didn't dare to think any further. After the first match ended, there was a short period of several minutes to adjust. In these few minutes, the coaches and players of the major teams were seriously and intensely discussing their tactics, as well as the shortcomings of the last match. AE Team was no exception. Their coach and players were also gathered together to discuss their tactics. Legend was the only one who sat lazily on his chair, rubbing his neck with one hand while casually tapping his fingers on the table with the other. The coach and players were having an intense discussion, but Legend didn't say a single word. Occasionally, when someone touched him, he would nod his head lightly as a form of acknowledgement. Even though his face couldn't be seen clearly, the aura he exuded made people feel that he was lazy. When he spoke to his coach and teammates, his emotions didn't fluctuate much, or rather, it could be said that he didn't fluctuate at all. From the looks of it, he didn't seem like he was here to participate in a competition. It was more like he was here for a fashion show. Wait a minute. Why does that sound so familiar? Yao bit on her lips as she tried her best to recall what had just happened. She suddenly recalled how Lin Jiej had nonchalantly stood at the starting line during the sports meet. Back then, Lin Jiej didn't look like he was participating in a race. Instead, he looked more like he was just running to aid his digestive system. With this thought in mind, Yao suddenly came to a realization. It was no wonder why she found the cold and distant aura emanating from her Adonis so familiar. That was Lin Jiej's shadow, so her Adonis had changed from Mr. Numbers to Lin Jiej, and her disdain of her Adonis had turned from elementary disdain to deep disdain. Yao couldn't help but wonder if she really loved her Adonis. But speaking of which, her Adonis was an unparalleled existence. How could Mr. Numbers and Lin Jiej possibly compare to him? Mr. Numbers must have watched her Adonis's competition and secretly imitated his skills. As for Lin Jiej, her Adonis's laziness was truly cool, but Lin Jiej was just pretending to be cool. Thus, for the next two matches, Yao spent her time thinking that Legend was Mr. Numbers and Legend was Lin Jiej. She spent her time apologizing to her Adonis for insulting him again. Without a doubt, AE Team had won the SDL championship this year. Before the awards ceremony, the organizers had also prepared some interactive interludes. They would randomly choose a lucky audience member to go on stage and confess to their idol. Yao didn't think that such a test of luck would have anything to do with her. But in the end, the seat number displayed on the screen was First Row, Zone C, Seat 8. Yao glanced at the ticket in her hand in disbelief. Then, she looked at the winning seat on the big screen in disbelief. After the host invited the lucky audience up the stage for the third time, she stood up as if she was in a dream, and with light footsteps, she walked onto the stage. Chapter 467. That's not a problem. Easy. Yao didn't even need to use her brain to say the name Legend. Our God L. The MC replied to Yao's words without the slightest hint of surprise. Then, he asked, as a fan of God L, what would you like to say to God L given the opportunity to stand on this stage? Yes, of course. She had loved Legend for so many years, so how could she possibly not have anything she wanted to say to him? Even though Yao had spent countless days and nights fantasizing about what she would say to Legend one day, even though those words were familiar to her, she still couldn't help but feel a little nervous when the MC handed her the microphone. Yao fell into deep thought for a few seconds as she went through the words that she wanted to say in her heart. Finally, she spoke up. Legend, regardless of whether you're successful now or destitute in the future, you'll always be the light in my heart. I'm not your teammate, so I can't risk my life for you, but I can cheer for you. As long as it's your dream, it's my dream too. I want to be your little fangirl forever. Finally, PGI World League, all the best. I hope that you can become the first world champion of PUBG. MC, wow, that's a really good speech. God L's fans are always full of surprises. However, I wonder if God L has any reaction to his fans' confession? It wasn't that such a segment hadn't happened in previous tournaments. However, Legend had always been a mysterious person, so mysterious that not only did the outside world not know his appearance, no one had even heard his voice. Thus, whenever such a situation occurred, it would usually be Legend's teammates or coaches who would step forward to express their gratitude to his fans. As time went by, whenever the MC encountered such a situation, he would ask Legend for his reaction instead of saying anything. This was because everyone knew that Legend wouldn't say anything even if they asked. This time was no exception. Be it the fans in the stadium or the staff and professional players on stage, everyone thought that Legend would do the same as before. He would just nod his head slightly to express his gratitude, and the rest of the gifts and words would be taken over by his coach. In fact, even Yao herself thought that this would be the case. However, as soon as the host finished speaking, Legend raised the microphone in his hand. Then, under everyone's incredulous gazes, he moved the corner of his lips and said, "Okay." The scene was very quiet. This silence lasted for about 10 seconds. The crowd erupted in an instant. It had been 3.5 years since he had first appeared in the esports industry. Legend, who hadn't spoken a word in public, had actually spoken up. Although it was just one word, the atmosphere was still so violent that it was a little hard to control. Even Yao couldn't believe her ears. She stood on the stage in a daze as she stared at the young man who was wearing a cap and a mask to conceal his identity. Finally, good luck PGI World League. I hope you can become the first world champion of PlayerUnknown's Battleground. Good. Legend, her Adonis, was responding to her words. She said that she hoped he could win his first world championship, and he said yes. Chapter 468. She must have been moving too quickly with her Adonis, and it must have pulled on her brain, giving her too many bizarre thoughts. By the time the award ceremony was over, it was already past 10 at night. Back at the hotel, Yao was so excited that she couldn't fall asleep due to her Adonis talking to her that she logged into the game. As expected, Juice and Expert of the Monkeys were currently in the game. Yao waited for a while, and when the two of them were done, she requested to join the room. After Yao entered the room, Desolated Year also requested to join the room. A second after Desolated Year entered the room, Yao heard his voice saying, "I'm sorry, I'm in the hotel today, so I might be a little laggy during the live stream." Yao couldn't help but ask, "Outside?" Desolated Year, "That's right, I'm in Shenzhen." Yao was a little surprised. What a coincidence. Desolated Year, "You're in Shenzhen too?" Yao, "That's right." Desolated Year probed, "It can't be that you're here to watch the SDL finals, right?" Yao, "That's right. Could it be that you're here too?" Desolated Year, "It's fate, brother. Which hotel are you staying at? It can't be the Marriott Hotel near the competition venue, right?" Yao was even more surprised. "HM? How did you know?" Desolated Year, "I'm staying here too, so I guess that it was here." Yao, "Oh." Desolated Year, "Since it's such a coincidence, do you want to go for supper later?" Supper? Yao gulped down a mouthful of saliva. Her Adonis had been too agitated earlier, and now she realized that she was really a little hungry. Desolated Year, "We're planning to eat crayfish. There's a crayfish restaurant in Shenzhen that sells delicious honey sauce. Do you want to join us? If you want to go, we'll gather at the lobby of the hotel at around 12:30 p.m. Crayfish? Yao couldn't help but gulp down another mouthful of saliva. She could feel her stomach growling. After returning to the hotel room, The first thing Lin Jiej did was fill up the bathtub with hot water before switching on his phone. It had been a while since he switched it on. Lin Jiej casually placed his phone on the counter beside the bathtub and went to wash his face. When the water in the bathtub was almost full, he opened a bottle of red wine and lay in the comfortable water. Listening to the soothing music from the hotel, he picked up his phone and started to check the unread messages that he had accumulated recently. He first searched for Shi Yao's name in his messages, but there wasn't a single unread message. Thus, he searched for the name Yao Loves Ice Cream in WeChat, but there were still no unread messages. After which, he headed over to Shi Yao's Sexy and Frisky WeChat group and scrolled through the 999+ messages. Shi Yao had quite a lot of things to say, but none of them were related to him. Lin Jiej suddenly felt a little disappointed. He stared at the phone screen in a daze for a while before looking at the other unread messages. He had always felt that Xia Shangzhou's message wasn't important, so even though he was at the top of WeChat, he still chose to check his message last. Boss, you're in danger. You're the one in danger. Your entire family is in danger. Boss, you've been poached. Their house was extremely safe, so they probably want to have tea with the police before they could even touch the walls. Boss, Little Junior has been playing games with a streamer every day. Chapter 469. Boss, Little Junior has been playing games with a streamer every day recently. A deep frown appeared on Lin Jiej's forehead as a sense of danger crept through his entire body. Boss, if you don't show yourself soon, Little Junior is going to have an affair. Lin Jiej abruptly sat up in the bathtub. Due to his overreaction, he knocked over the wine glass by the side, and the red liquid spilled all over the floor. With no time to spare, he raised his phone and dialed Xia Shangzhou's number. Xia Shangzhou happened to be playing on his phone, so he swiftly picked up the call. Boss, you? Hearing Xia Shangzhou's passionate voice on the other end of the phone, Lin Jiej coldly interjected. What do you mean by having an affair? Cheating on me? Xia Shangzhou asked doubtfully. Following which, the sound of keyboard tapping could be heard, and Xia Shangzhou began reciting the phrase as if he was reading a book. Affair refers to red apricot blossoms growing out of the wall. It's a metaphor for the blossoming of spring, and it can also be used to refer to a wife having an affair. Lin Jiej, I scored 149 out of 150 for my Chinese language college entrance exam. Only my essay was deducted 1 point. Thank you. Xia Shangzhou. Ah? Perhaps he had turned on the speaker, but Lu Binlei's voice sounded from the other end. Boss, please don't take it to heart. My grandson's surname is Retard, and his name is Retard. Xia Shangzhou. Scram. If I'm retard, you're retard. Lu Binlei. You really are a retard. If your name is Retard, then my surname is Retard. Do you know what my real name is? Wisdom. Lin Jiej cleared his throat in time to interrupt the two of them from bickering out of habit. Lu Binlei immediately halted the situation and asked, Boss, are you asking about that elementary school girl's affair? Hearing Lu Binlei's words, Xia Shangzhou immediately came to a realization. Oh, you're talking about that streamer. Boss, you might not know, but he would come up to Little Junior to play games with her every day. He's a very talkative person, but Little Junior seems to like him a lot. She would often laugh at his teasing, and she even praised him for being cute. Lu Binlei. That's right, boss. I'm the cutest, but Little Junior actually praised him for being cute. I'm unhappy. I'm going to retaliate. If not for Soft Bun, he really didn't want to bother with these two lunatics. Lin Jiej asked impassively, What's the host's name? Xia Shangzhou. Bean Sprout TV, called Years of Desolation. Without saying a word, Lin Jiej opened Bean Sprout TV and searched for Year of Desolation. He had already logged off, but he could still see that he had 360,000 followers. Xia Shangzhou was still chattering away on the phone. He has quite a lot of fans and fangirls. Many of them are always spamming the screen, saying things like, Aunt Nian loves you. We're both young people, but why does he have so many aunties love him, while I don't even have a grandmother, much less an auntie? Lu Binlei. The heck? I didn't expect you to have such a heavy taste. You actually like grandma? Xia Shangzhou. F***ck me, that's a metaphor. Do you understand metaphors? Lin Jiej raised his finger and rubbed his glabella. which was starting to get a little impatient from the quarrel between the two of them. When did they meet? Lu Binlai, early August, I think. They've known each other for about half a month now. Xia Shangzhou, boss, this person is really here to steal our girlfriend. Let me tell you something even more frightening. Just before you called, he was still chatting with little Junior in the game. Chapter 470. Lu Binlai. That's right, boss. I can testify to that. Old Xia and I were just discussing how to call you when your call came. Xia Shangzhou. Boss, the content of their conversation is that they're both in Shenzhen today, and they're currently discussing where to have supper. Lu Binlai. And what's even scarier is that they're staying in the same hotel? Xia Shangzhou. Boss, I can already see the green light above your head. Do you know that when they meet in the game, they even have a midnight snack, and they even stay in the same hotel? Once they meet, ugh, the two of them will definitely wake up the next day in the same bed. Lu Binlai. That's right, boss. Think about that fellow Song Chaoshi. He's always having supper with his girlfriend, and as time goes on, they'll end up in bed together. Lin Jiej couldn't take it anymore. With a cold expression, he hung up the call. Softbun is having an affair? She dares. Even if I don't. No, I won't dare to do anything to her. But I can't possibly allow her to have an affair, can I? Lin Jiej pondered for a moment before logging into the game. Yao Loves Ice Cream was currently offline. Wasn't she in the middle of a game? What the heck is she up to now? Getting. Lin Jiej's heart skipped a beat as an ominous premonition surfaced in his mind. Without any hesitation, he sent a WeChat message to Yao Loves Ice Cream. Do you want to play? Lin Jiej waited for a moment, but there was still no response from her, so he sent a question mark over. He waited for a moment longer, but there was still no response from his phone. Thus, he sent another question mark over. Just as he was about to send a question mark for the third time, a message finally appeared on the screen. Wait a moment. I'm going to have supper first. Supper? Lin Jiej's hand trembled, and putong, his phone fell into the bathtub. Wait a moment. I can't wait even a second longer. I wouldn't be a man if I could. Lin Jiej fished his phone out of the bathtub before leaping out of the bathtub impatiently. He grabbed 2 napkins from the nearby sink and wiped the water off his phone as he rushed out of the bathroom. It was only when he was about to reach the hotel room that he realized that he wasn't wearing any clothes. Lin Jiej abruptly turned around, and as he made his way back to the hotel room, he lowered his head to look at his phone. Fortunately, the phone was waterproof, so there was no problem. He tossed the phone onto the bed, bent down to pick up 2 sets of clothes and began to put them on. When he put on his clothes and was about to walk out the door, he suddenly stopped as if he had thought of something. Other than knowing that she ate supper, he knew nothing else. Shenzhen was so big, and there were so many places to eat supper. Where was he going to find her? Even if he really went to every supper shop, it would probably be tomorrow morning by the time he was done, right? Perhaps she had already had an affair with him. No. He had to quickly plant this red apricot in a flower pot. If she grew out of the wall, he would move the flower pot to the courtyard. But now, he couldn't plant her in a flower pot, so he could only choose to slaughter all the people around the courtyard with bad intentions. That's right, I'll slaughter them. But how? Moreover, it had to be an efficient slaughter. Chapter 471. Before going to bed, Lin Jiej watched a movie in the home theater in the basement. She didn't remember much of the content of the movie, but she did remember 3 scenes. The first scene was, the female lead and the male lead first met in front of a barbecue stall. The second scene was, the female lead invited the male lead to have supper at the same barbecue stall. The third scene was, the female lead and the male lead reunited in front of the barbecue stall after being separated for 8 years. To sum it up, Lin Jiej craved barbecue. Having already bathed and done her skincare, she didn't feel like going out. Thus, Lin Jiej thought of the voyeur she had been trying to enslave recently. Even though it was already midnight, Lin Jiej still found the phone number of the voyeur and dialed it without the slightest bit of embarrassment. The phone rang for quite a while before it was picked up. Xia Shangzhou's sleepy voice sounded from the other side. Boss Lin? Lin Jiej harumphed coldly before issuing a command confidently. I'll give you 30 minutes. Head to Little Goo Barbecue on East 1st Street, and buy a portion of everything they have and send it to my house. Xia Shangzhou. Now? Lin Jiai. Yes. Xia Shangzhou. Boss Lin, can I order a takeaway for you? I'm feeling a little out of sorts today. Lin Jiai. Do you know what kind of person has the word asking for a beating written on their face? Xia Shangzhou. I don't. Lin Jiai. You'll know once you look at yourself in a mirror. Xia Shangzhou. Xia Shangzhou. Boss Lin, wait a moment. A piping hot barbecue will definitely be sent to you in 30 minutes. 30 minutes later, Xia Shangzhou appeared at the entrance of the Lin family's house with a huge bag of barbecue. Lin Jiai had instructed the servants in advance to have Xia Shangzhou head upstairs if he were to arrive. Thus, after opening the door for Xia Shangzhou, the servant politely gestured to the staircase and said, Mr. Xia, young miss invites you to her bedroom. Lin Jiai had recently become addicted to an app filled with short videos posted by the netizens themselves. After watching them for some time, Lin Jiai also wanted to upload a video for fun. Therefore, she registered an account. Then, on a whim, she would take a video and upload it to her account, but she would not send it out. After she hung up on Xia Shangzhou, she was bored from waiting for the barbecue. So she remembered a video she saw in the hot spring in the afternoon. She fixed her phone on the tripod, found a good angle, and started to record the video. You don't have a house or a car, but you must have a heart that loves me. As Lin Jiai recited her lines, she made a heart gesture toward the camera. I don't care if I don't have a house or a car, but I'm a slut. As Lin Jiai recited the last sentence, she took off her silk pajamas, revealing her fair and slender shoulders. At the same time, Xia Shangzhou ran upstairs with the barbecue. He wanted to knock on the door, but the door was not locked. He was afraid that he would be tortured by the female devil if he was late for 30 minutes, so he failed to control his strength and pushed the door open. Chapter 472. But in the next instant, Lin Jiai had already put her clothes back on. She tied the belt in 1 second and grabbed Xia Shangzhou's collar in the next. She gritted her teeth and scolded him. She raised her fist and punched him in the face. You peeping Tom. Boss Lin, Big Sis Lin, Goddess Lin, I didn't see anything at all. I swear that I really didn't see anything at all. Heroine Lin. Lin Jiai's fist was only an inch away from Xia Shangzhou's face when she abruptly stopped. Really? Xia Shangzhou nodded his head vehemently. Yes, I swear it. I'd be a dog if I lied to you. Lin Jiai, aren't you? Xia Shangzhou stared at Lin Jiai's fist, fearing that she would really smash it at him. Without any hesitation, he barked, woof, woof, woof. Only then did Lin Jiai let go of Xia Shangzhou. Xia Shangzhou breathed a sigh of relief. He was glad that it was a close call. But barely after he called out to her, Lin Jiai abruptly asked, Is my figure good? Without any hesitation, Xia Shangzhou immediately praised, Good, very good. You have the figure of a world-class model. But before he could finish his words, Lin Jiai had already grabbed his collar once more. Didn't you say that you didn't see anything at all? Are the people in our boss's family all sharp-witted? Why do they have so many tricks up their sleeves? Xia Shangzhou was stunned for 2 seconds before he dared not hesitate anymore. I didn't see anything at all, but that doesn't stop me from praising you. Boss Lin, in my heart, you are perfect. Be it in terms of figure, intelligence, or looks, you are flawless. You are the spokesperson of a goddess, the ideal lover of every man. Lin Jiai stared at Xia Shangzhou for a moment before releasing her grip on his collar once more. Having just escaped from death, Xia Shangzhou didn't even dare to breathe loudly. He immediately passed the takeaway bag in his hands over and said, Boss Lin, here's the barbecue you ordered. Lin Jiai opened the bag and took a look inside. After which, she took a deep breath and reverted back to her usual authoritative demeanor as a queen. Take it away. Take it away? Xia Shangzhou was perplexed. Boss Lin, aren't you going to eat? Nonsense, I'm on a diet. Of course, I won't eat. This is called quenching thirst by looking at plums, understand? If I don't want to eat it, why do you want me to buy it? Xia Shangzhou dared not voice his anger. From your expression, it seems like you have something against me? I wouldn't dare. I'm just shocked by Boss Lin's literary standards. You even know the illusion of looking at plums to quench thirst. You're a top student. She hated it when people called her a straight student because she had never passed any of her examinations before. Feeling that she was being mocked, Lin Jiai raised her leg, intending to knock Xia Shangzhou down when her phone suddenly rang. Fearing that the person calling in the middle of the night might have an urgent matter, Lin Jiai shot Xia Shangzhou a warning glance before pointing to the door, gesturing for him to scram. Goodbye, Chief Lin. Xia Shangzhou felt as if he had just been pardoned. He hugged the barbecue and ran away. After Xia Shangzhou disappeared from the bedroom, Lin Jiai walked over to her phone and took a look at the caller ID. It was Lin Jiej. Happy, it seemed like the landlord's stupid son had come to give him money. A smile crept up Lin Jiai's face as she hung up on Lin Jiej's call without any hesitation. After which, she sent him a message. The other party requires RMB in order to activate the chat mode. After receiving the message, Lin Jiej sent a red packet over. Then, before Lin Jiai could say anything, he went straight to the point. I'll give you a choice. Yao Yao will sleep with me tonight, or you can sleep with another man. Chapter 473. After receiving Lin Jiai's message, Lin Jiej sent her a red packet. Then, before Lin Jiai could say anything, he went straight to the point. I'll give you a choice. You can sleep with me tonight, or you can sleep with another man. Lin Jiai took the red packet and replied, You scoundrel, I won't choose either. Despite being scolded, Lin Jiej calmly sat on the sofa in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. Raising his phone, he leisurely typed, All right then, I'll have Yao Yao follow another wild man tonight. Lin Jiai, my Yao Yao is such an obedient girl. You must be slandering my Yao Yao. I'll tell Grandpa and have him break your legs with his walking stick. Obedient? She was already having an affair, so how was she obedient? He was clearly being unreasonable. Lin Jiej chuckled inwardly. Based on what I know so far, Yao Yao has gone out for supper with a man she met on the internet, and they're even staying in the same hotel. Lin Jiai. Continue. Lin Jiej. It's up to you whether you believe it or not, but don't cry later. Lin Jiai. You're probably crying even harder than I am. Lin Jiej sent a series of crying emojis. I'm already crying. Lin Jiai. Lin Jiai. Lin Jiai. Lin Jiai. All right then. Compared to a wild man, I can accept you defiling my Yao Yao more. Lin Jiai. Tell me, how do you want me to help you? Let me make this clear first. I might have chosen you to sleep with Yao Yao tonight, but sleep isn't a verb. If you dare to do anything to Yao Yao, let me tell you, Lin Jiej, I'll teach you a lesson personally. I won't break your legs as gently as my grandfather did, but I'll break all 3 of your legs very gently. Lin Jiej sent a voice message over and explained everything that he had asked Lin Jiai to do in detail. After the voice message was sent, he noticed that there was a new message on the screen. Lin Jiai, it's not a friendly favor. Yin Lin Jiej. Don't worry, I guarantee that you'll be satisfied with the remuneration. After hearing Lin Jiej's voice message, Lin Jiai replied with a voice message, I refuse. You asked me to do this. Isn't it equal to asking me to lie to Yao Yao? Yao Yao is so cute. How can you bear to deceive her? Lin Jiej, I'll never betray Yao Yao. A moment later, Lin Jiai sent another message over. How much? Lin Jiej. 1888 Lin Jiai. Dollar? Lin Jiej. Sure. Lin Jiai. I'm not satisfied. Lin Jiej. If you're not satisfied, why did you send a dollar sign over? Lin Jiej. Add another $8. Lin Jiej, who had sent this message, thought to himself, if Lin Jiai still doesn't agree to it, I'll have to think of some other way. I can't keep spoiling her like this. Lin Jiai. I'll think about it. It was as if Lin Jiej had lost his memory, completely forgetting what he had been thinking earlier. He replied, add another $8. Lin Jiai. Deal. Lin Jiej transferred the money. Lin Jiai collected the money. Lin Jiai. ATM machine. Wait for my good news. Lin Jiej ignored Lin Jiai. Roughly a minute later, his phone suddenly rang. It was a WeChat message from Lin Jiai. It was a screenshot. It was a screenshot of what she had just posted on her Moments page. Almighty Moments. Is there anyone in Shenzhen? I'm in dire need of help. I'm waiting online. There was a small line of words at the bottom. Only, Yao loves ice cream can be seen. Chapter 474. After confirming that there was nothing wrong with Lin Jiai's post, Lin Jie zoomed in on the screenshot, and a few new messages popped up on the screen. Lin Jie, it's really not that I want to criticize you, but Lin Jie, you're really too cheap. Lin Jie, how did you come up with a moments page that only Yao Yao can see? Lin Jie, ATM, have you heard of it? Other people are either coquettish on the outside or coquettish on the inside, but you're really coquettish. Lin Jie, what should we do? Little brother, Yao Yao is ignoring me. Did she not see my moments? Lin Jie, it's not that I want to criticize you, Lin Jie, but what kind of rubbish idea is that? It's completely uncontrollable, all right? Yao Yao doesn't look at her circle of friends. No matter how many messages you ask me to send, it's useless. Lin Jie didn't ignore Lin Jie's chatterbox. Instead, he tapped into his moments page and scrolled down many times. Eventually, he found a distant relative and sent a link asking for likes and haggling over the price. After which, he forwarded it to his own moments page and chose to only be visible to Yao loves ice cream. After sending the post to his moments page, he returned to the chat page and sent a message to Lin Jie. Repost the content of your moments page once more. After some thought, Lin Jie felt that if Shi Yao had too many friends, Lin Jie's moments page might be suppressed. Thus, he sent another message. No, repost it 3 times, 5 times. After confirming that Lin Jie was fine, he sent a WeChat message to Yao loves ice cream. Are you free now? Yao loves ice cream. I haven't finished eating yet. She added an aggrieved emoji at the end. Grievance? I feel much more wrong than you. Lin Jie typed, no, I just want to ask you for a favor. Can you do me a favor? Yao loves ice cream. Oh, sure. Sure. 111,111. Go ahead and check your moments first. 111,111. Did you go in? Yao loves ice cream. I did, but I was called out by your message. 111,111. 111111. All right, go back to your friend circle and scroll down. When you find my friend circle, give me a like. While Shi Yao was having supper in the hotel, she followed Mr. Number's instructions and tapped into her moments page once more. Before she could scroll down to look for Mr. Number's moments page, she saw a series of posts from Lin Jie. Almighty moments, is there anyone in Shenzhen? I need help urgently. I'm waiting online. At the bottom of the moments post, Lin Jie's reply seemed to be talking to someone. What a coincidence. Mr. Zhang, why did you go on a business trip? It's all right. It's all right. Mr. Song, you're too kind. This happened unexpectedly. It's good that you have this intention. Sister Zhang, you don't have to drive back to Shenzhen overnight for such a small matter. I'll think of another way. From the looks of it, Sis Jai really does seem to be in dire need of help, completely forgetting about the matter that Mr. Numbers had asked for help with. Shi Yao sent a message to Lin Jai's moments page and replied, Sis Jai, I'm in Shenzhen. What's wrong? Lin Jie's phone rang once more. He picked it up and took a look. It was a screenshot from Lin Jie. Shi Yao had replied to her moments page. Chapter 475. Lin Jie absent-mindedly tapped on the screen and sent a yes. Got it. Lin Jie probably went to give Shi Yao a call, so she didn't respond to his message. Lin Jie put away his phone and walked over to his luggage. He rummaged through 2 sets of clothes and stuffed them into his bag. Carrying his bag, he was just about to head out when he suddenly recalled the nonsense he'd told Lin Jie to say to Shi Yao. Thus, he hurriedly took out his wallet from his pocket and tossed it into the hotel room's safe. After confirming that there was nothing wrong with it, he tossed his bag over his shoulder and walked out of the hotel room. After commenting on Lin Jie's post, Shi Yao returned to WeChat and searched for Lin Jie's account. Just as she was about to send her a private message to ask her what was going on, Lin Jie's call suddenly came in. She stuffed the lotus slice she'd just picked up into her mouth before putting down her chopsticks to answer Lin Jie's call. Due to the food in her mouth, out of politeness, she didn't dare to speak. While she was desperately swallowing her food, Lin Jie spoke up. Even though her tone was as gentle as ever, Shi Yao could still hear the anxiety in her voice. Yao Yao, are you really in Shenzhen? After swallowing everything in her mouth, Yao called out, Sis Jai, before replying. That's right. I came to Shenzhen today. That's great. Lin Jai looked as if she'd found a life-saving straw, and her voice was filled with joy. Yao, it's like this. Jiej is in Shenzhen right now, just like you. Lin Jiej, the man who had disappeared for 2 months after confessing to her the night before. Yao's hand, which was holding onto her phone, froze for a moment, but she didn't say anything. However, he's currently in some trouble. I don't know what he's doing, but he seems to be in a daze right now. Lin Jai didn't forget to toss a vicious glare at Lin Jiej before continuing on. He went to Shenzhen today for a project, and there were some matters that he needed to discuss. I'm not too sure about the details, but there was a mistake in the connection. When he arrived in Shenzhen, the other party was out on a business trip, and just like that, they missed each other. It wasn't a big deal, but he lost his wallet. His ID card, bank card, and everything else that could be in the wallet were lost along with the wallet. The wallet was lost. Could the things in the wallet be left behind? Yao noticed the contradiction in Lin Jai's words, but she thought that Lin Jai was too anxious to correct her mistake. Without his ID, he can't open a hotel. Mobile payments are common nowadays, but that unlucky kid's phone ran out of battery. More than an hour ago, when he called me to ask for help, his phone automatically switched off halfway. I saw that he had no money, no ID, and his phone ran out of battery. I was worried about him, so I asked my friends in WeChat to see if there were any acquaintances or friends who could help. Chapter 476. Pick him up. Yao couldn't help but wonder if Lin Jiej was really Lin Jai's younger brother. Her tone and words sounded as if she was picking up a piece of trash. How perfunctory. Yao froze for a moment before replying. But Sis Jai, Shenzhen is so big. Where am I supposed to pick him up? Sis Jai's words are leading me astray. Yao stuck out her tongue and hurriedly changed her words. Find him? Yao, are you saying that you're going to help me pick up that unlucky brat? She seemed to have been tricked by Sis Jai. She was so engrossed in chatting with her that she didn't even notice whether she should help her or not. But considering how well Grandpa Lin and Sis Jai treated her, shouldn't she lend them a helping hand as well? Besides, the weather in Shenzhen during summer was very unstable. It had just rained a while ago, and the wind was blowing strongly at the moment. Who knew if a typhoon might break out in the middle of the night? Yao pondered for a moment before replying with a light I should still look for him. Yao, I really have to thank you on that brat's behalf. It's all thanks to you picking up a hero. No, Lin Jiej can't be considered a hero. At most, he's a coward, and it's a beauty picking up a coward. Don't you think that he's a fool? How could he lose his wallet? How could his phone run out of battery? Calling him a coward is an insult to a coward. This time, Yao really suspected that Lin Jiej wasn't Lin Jai's younger brother. Seeing that Lin Jai was going on and on about Lin Jiej, Yao could only interject awkwardly. Sis Jai, that man, Lin Jai finally stopped her insults and said, when he was on the phone with me, he shared his location with me. Wait a moment. I'll share it with you on WeChat. Roughly 10 seconds later, Yao felt her phone vibrating. She took a look at her phone and saw that it was an address shared by Lin Jai. She quickly replied, Sis Jai, I got it. After hanging up Yao's call, Lin Jai immediately sent Lin Jiej a message. Done. Lin Jiej replied, thanks. Lin Jai was intending to ignore Lin Jiej, but as soon as she put down her phone, a thought suddenly came to her mind. She picked up her phone once more and swiftly typed out a long message. She sent it to Lin Jiej. I've already posted the content you requested on my Moments page, and only Yao can see it. After Yao replied to my post, I called Yao and told her everything you wanted to express, such as losing your wallet, talking about projects, phone running out of battery, etc. Lin Jiej. Even though it was just 2 question marks, Lin Jai still understood what he was trying to say. He was asking her why she was repeating the words he had said through the voice chat earlier. Lin Jai. The reason why I'm doing this is so that if Yao were to find out that I've colluded with you to scam her, she wouldn't be able to send a screenshot to her and say that it was all your idea and that I was only coerced by you. Lin Jiej sent over a screenshot of his bank transfer records. Lin Jiai replied confidently, "This is the evidence of you coercing me. You know that I'm completely defenseless against money, but you still used it to tempt me. This is blatant coercion." Lin Jiej, I've switched off my phone. After ending the call with Lin Jiai, Shuyao changed out of her pajamas and headed out to pick Lin Jiej up. As of today, it has been free for nearly 120 days. Thank you for everyone's company over the past 100 days. This is the longest free book I've ever published. Due to some matters that I have to attend to in May and June, the free content is much longer than usual. I'm estimating that it'll end in December, so I'll let everyone read the main text and the epilogue before the 19th year. To be honest, my story isn't long, and I don't have a lot of words either. So, I'm already being very kind to everyone. The length of this book is still the same as before, around 1,000 to 1,100 words. If you were to read the rest of the story without any discounts, it would only cost around 20 renminbi and a few bottles of drinks. That's an average of a few cents per day. So, I hope that everyone can support the original version as much as possible, and I hope that I'll still be able to see the shadows of all of you after it's published. More importantly, I hope that everyone can accompany Lin Jiai and Yao Yao to the end of their story. Chapter 477. After ending her call with Lin Jiai, Shuyao changed out of her pajamas and headed out to look for Lin Jiej. No, it was to look for Lin Jiej. In the elevator, Shuyao tapped into the address Lin Jiai had shared with her and took a look at the traffic. What a coincidence. Lin Jiej was very close to the hotel she was staying at, roughly 1,000 meters away. It seemed to be on the street behind the hotel. If she were to walk there, it would probably only take her around 10 minutes. Without any hesitation, Shuyao decided to walk there. After all, her priority when it came to money was to buy good food. When she arrived at the entrance of the hotel, Shuyao noticed that it was drizzling outside, so she borrowed an umbrella from the concierge before walking into the rain. Following the directions on the GPS, she walked along a slightly dilapidated path beside the hotel, and after walking for around 8 minutes, she finally arrived at the street where Lin Jiej was. Shuyao was a little obsessed with maps. Looking at the green indicator on the map, she couldn't tell whether she should head left or right. So, with her phone in hand, she picked a random direction and walked forward. When she saw that she was getting further and further away from Lin Jiej, she hurriedly turned around and headed in the correct direction. The map showed that she was roughly 300 meters away from Lin Jiej. Shuyao hastened her footsteps, and after walking for around 200 meters, she finally slowed down. The area where the hotel was located was relatively bustling, and the street behind it had a lot of night snack shops. This was also near the competition venue, and the competition ended relatively late. Basically, everyone who watched the competition had not eaten dinner yet, and now they were all gathered on this street. It was a bit chaotic with people coming and going. Shuyao was a little afraid that she might have missed Lin Jiej. Looking at the map on her phone, she saw that the distance between them was getting shorter and shorter, and her footsteps gradually slowed down. Just as she was about to reach the location that Lin Jiej had marked on the map, Shuyao suddenly stopped and craned her neck to look around. As there were many people around, Shuyao thought that she would have to spend some time looking for him. Yet, as soon as she raised her head, she saw him. He was wearing a white t-shirt, and he was standing quietly under a street lamp with a calm expression on his face. There wasn't the slightest hint of the wretched look that Sis Jai had described him to be. The rain was not heavy, but perhaps he had been standing in the rain for too long. His hair was wet, and there were a few strands of hair drooping in front of his forehead, still dripping with water. Even so, it did not affect his beauty at all. Looking at him from a distance of 10 meters away, Shuyao felt that Lin Jiej didn't look like he was waiting for someone to pick him up. Instead, he looked more like a delightful painting. Perhaps it was because they hadn't seen each other for 2 months, but Shuyao was still stunned by the current Lin Jiej. Holding the umbrella in her hand, she froze on the spot. It was only when a passerby accidentally knocked over her umbrella that she finally snapped out of her daze and hurriedly walked over to Lin Jiej. Perhaps it was because he had been waiting for too long, or perhaps he was thinking about something else to pass the time. But even when Shuyao walked up to Lin Jiej, he still didn't show much of a reaction. The rain suddenly became heavier. Yao instinctively stretched out her arm and pushed the umbrella in her hand toward Lin Jie's head. Lin Jie raised his head to look at the umbrella above him before turning his gaze to the front. Chapter 478. Compared to Lin Jie, Yao was much shorter, so when she opened the umbrella for him, she instinctively tilted her head upward. But before she could see whether the umbrella had closed for him or not, her gaze met his eyes, which were looking down at her. Just like that, their gazes collided. In that instant, Yao didn't know what was wrong with her, but her heart suddenly skipped a beat. The surroundings were bustling with activity, but as if someone had cast a spell on Yao's ears, everything fell silent in an instant. Lin Jie didn't expect that the person who had come would be her, and a hint of surprise flashed across his beautiful eyes. Following that, a very faint smile and warmth surfaced on his face as he asked, "Did my older sister send you here?" His voice was as pleasant as ever, and it pulled the dazed Yao back to her senses. She nodded her head vehemently and quickly replied, "That's right. Sis Jai posted it on her Moments page, and I saw it. It was only then that I learned of your situation, so I came over to pick you up." Yao quickly shut her mouth. She must have been led astray by Sis Jai. To think that she would frequently talk about picking up Lin Jie. With such thoughts in mind, Yao quickly added, "I came over to look for you." She couldn't tell whether Lin Jie had heard the word pick up or not, but from start to end, there wasn't much of a reaction on his face. He simply maintained the same posture as before, staring fixedly into her eyes as he replied with a very nonchalant, "Oh." Even though it was just a single word, the slightly raised tone of his voice made Yao's heart beat furiously in tandem with it. This was really weird. Why did he suddenly look even more handsome after meeting her this time? Was it because he had developed an immunity to her after meeting her so frequently in the past, but after 2 months, that immunity had completely disappeared? In order to prevent herself from falling into a daze like when she first met him, Yao tried her best to maintain her composure and said, "It's been raining for so long. Why didn't you find a place to hide?" "I'm afraid." Lin Jie only said a single word before coming to a halt. Yao replied with Only then did Lin Jie move his lips once more. "I don't have money." Sweat. What a strong reason. It was so strong that she found it hard to refute him, rendered speechless by Lin Jie. Yao fell silent for a few seconds before saying, "Let's go then." Lin Jie nodded. "All right." Yao turned around and faced the direction of the hotel. She was short and he was tall, so it was difficult for her to hold the umbrella. Lin Jie glanced at her arms that were trying her best to stretch higher, and a hint of a smile crept into his eyes that he didn't even notice. However, he only took a few glances at it before he reached for the umbrella. His fingertips touched her hand. Yao's body trembled as she abruptly raised her head to look at Lin Jie. Lin Jie raised his head and glanced at the edge of the umbrella, which was still dripping with water. "I'll do it." Even though his words were very simple, Yao could tell that he was intending to open an umbrella for her. Oh. She hurriedly let go of the umbrella handle. Raising his umbrella, Lin Jie tilted it slightly in Yao's direction before following her footsteps. His legs were long and his steps were long, so when he walked beside her, he looked very casual, as though he was taking a stroll. Along the way, he did not talk much with her. Chapter 479. He couldn't help but recall the question she had asked him earlier. "It's been raining for so long. Why didn't you find a place to hide?" He nearly blurted out, "I was afraid that you wouldn't be able to find a place to hide." But just as the words were about to come out of his mouth, he realized that he had nearly let it slip. After all, she didn't think that he would know who would be coming to fetch him. In truth, there had been a few minutes before she arrived that the rain had been really heavy. He hated rainy days the most, and he hated the dampness of the rain. But the thought of leaving never crossed his mind. He simply stood there calmly, allowing the rain to fall on his body. He was really afraid. He was afraid that she wouldn't see him in the dark of the night when she arrived. Come to think of it, it had been almost 2 months since he last saw her, and he missed her a lot. He knew that all along. It was just that when she stood before him, he realized that he wasn't missing her a lot. He really, really missed her. Back at the hotel, as soon as Lin Jiej entered Shi Yao's room, the first thing he did was to put on an act and ask, "Do you have a charging cable?" "I do." Shi Yao looked around the room before running over to the bedside cabinet to pull out her charging cable. After which, she ran over to Lin Jiej and passed the charging cable to him. Lin Jiej didn't take it. Instead, he passed his phone back to Shi Yao. Shi Yao raised her head to look at Lin Jiej in bewilderment. It was only then that she realized that Lin Jiej was asking her to help him charge his phone. That's right. There's no need for me to unplug the charging cable. I can just charge my phone directly. Shi Yao scolded herself for her foolishness. She took Lin Jiej's phone and ran back to the bedside table to plug the charging cable back in. After that, she charged Lin Jiej's phone and said, "It's done." Lin Jiej politely replied, "Thank you." After a moment of silence, Lin Jiej, the mastermind behind this entire incident, spoke up once more with a polite tone. "I'm really sorry for troubling you tonight." Feeling a little embarrassed by Lin Jiej's politeness, she waved her hand and said, "It's fine, it's fine." Noticing that Lin Jiej's hair was dripping wet, Shi Yao recalled how long he had been drenched in the rain, so she hurriedly said, "Do you want to take a hot bath? You might catch a cold." Lin Jiej replied with an before pointing in the direction of the washroom. "I'll be taking a shower first then." Shi Yao nodded, gesturing for him to hurry up. Lin Jiej took out his clothes from his bag and made his way to the bathroom. Just as he was about to enter, he suddenly thought of something and stopped in his tracks. "Oh yeah, there's something else I need to trouble you with. Help me send a message to my sister." Shi Yao understood that Lin Jiej was asking her to tell Lin Jiai that she was safe, so she nodded her head in response. She picked up her phone and tapped on the screen as she said, "I'll send a message to Sis Jai right now." With another "thank you," Lin Jiej stepped into the bathroom and closed the door. A second after he told Lin Jiai that he was safe, the sound of running water could be heard from the bathroom. Chapter 480. The hotel room wasn't too big, so her gaze fell on the hotel bed once more. "It's a good thing that AE team booked a double room for me. If it was a king-sized room, wouldn't I be sleeping on the same bed with Lin Jiej tonight?" As this thought flashed across Shi Yao's mind, the two single beds before her slowly merged together to form a king-sized bed. Then, she and Lin Jiej lay on top of it. Good heavens, what was she thinking? Shi Yao was shocked by the scene she was imagining. She abruptly turned her head around, and her gaze fell on the door of the washroom once more. The sound of running water continued. She only stared at it for a second before she averted her gaze. This time, she didn't even dare to look at the bed beside her. Instead, she closed her eyes and turned her head to the floor-to-ceiling window. Only then did she dare to open her eyes and look at the rainwater flowing down from the window. The sound of running water could still be heard clearly in the washroom. Shi Yao could clearly feel her ears heating up, and even her neck and cheeks were starting to burn up. After a long time, the sound of running water finally stopped. Shi Yao couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. Without the sound of running water, the entire hotel room seemed exceptionally quiet. A moment later, the door to the washroom opened. Shi Yao subconsciously turned her head around, and she saw Lin Jiej, who had changed into casual clothes and was wiping his dripping wet hair, walking out. Perhaps sensing her gaze on him, Lin Jiej raised his head to look at her face. When she met his gaze, her mind suddenly flashed with the images she had just imagined. Feeling guilty, she couldn't help but lower her eyelids and avoid his gaze. Then her gaze wandered, looking left and right, and finally, her attention was placed on the takeout she had ordered. Chilled crayfish, spicy duck neck, spicy lotus root slices, wangzai milk. These were cold to begin with, so they could still be eaten. Firstly, it was to conceal her guilty conscience, and secondly, it was likely that Lin Jiej hadn't eaten yet. Thus, Shi Yao said, "Right, you haven't had dinner yet, right? Are you hungry? I ordered some food before I picked you up, so I didn't eat much. Do you want some?" Hearing Shi Yao's words, Lin Jiej followed her gaze and saw a few takeout boxes placed on the small table by the floor-to-ceiling window. That time, when he sent her a message, she said that she was eating supper. Was she eating takeaway in the hotel room? She wasn't going out for supper with that wild man with 360,000 fans? Did you eat your supper in the hotel room? Hearing Lin Jie's question, Shuyao shot him a peculiar look and replied, "That's right. It was so late at night, and she was the only one in Shenzhen that she was unfamiliar with. If she didn't eat takeout in her hotel room, where else could she go?" Shuyao couldn't help but look at Lin Jie curiously. "Is there a problem?" "And not at all," Lin Jie replied nonchalantly, but he was actually laughing gleefully in his heart. He knew that his soft bun was an obedient girl. She wasn't the unreasonable type at all. Besides, even his confession had been rejected. How could that 360,000 wild man dream of taking soft bun away with him? He must be dreaming. Chapter 481. But then again, even though it was a false alarm, being able to share a room with Soft Bun was definitely worth it. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jie's lips couldn't help but curl up a little. Not bad. For the third time, Shuyao glanced at Lin Jie in bewilderment. Meeting her gaze, Lin Jie's face immediately calmed down. "What do you mean by not bad? Why do I feel like there's something weird about Lin Jie?" Shuyao assessed Lin Jie from head to toe, but she couldn't find anything strange about him. Thus, she retracted her gaze and asked once more, "Do you want to eat?" Lin Jie knew that she was referring to supper. Even though he didn't like any of those things, she was the one who asked him to eat them. Even if it was poison, he was willing to eat them. Yes. After replying to Shuyao's question, Lin Jie's lips curled up once more. Seeing that Lin Jie had agreed to it, Shuyao moved the takeout from the small table to the large study table. After which, she passed a pair of disposable gloves to Lin Jie as he walked over. Actually, Shuyao wasn't that hungry after eating a little earlier, but she had never had much resistance to good food. Seeing how Lin Jie was eating leisurely, she couldn't help but put on a pair of gloves and eat as well. Seeing how happy Shuyao was eating, Lin Jie, who didn't really like to eat such things, decided not to eat anymore. Instead, he peeled the prawns and fed them to Shuyao. Initially, because Shuyao was eating, Lin Jie placed the prawns in the takeout box that was closer to Shuyao's side. Later on, she finished all of the prawns he peeled, so Lin Jie passed the freshly peeled prawns to Shuyao. Later on, when Shuyao was opening the Wangzai milk, she didn't have the spare hands to take the prawns. Seeing Lin Jie pass the prawns to her, she instinctively opened her mouth. Lin Jie was stunned for a moment before he carefully placed the prawns into her mouth. Due to the fact that there was always something to eat, Shuyao didn't notice anything amiss. It was only when the last prawn entered Lin Jie's mouth and accidentally brushed against the corner of her lips that she finally realized that Lin Jie was feeding her with his hands. Even though he was wearing disposable gloves that smelled like crayfish, she could still clearly feel the heat from his fingertips. Shuyao's face suddenly reddened. She suddenly recalled that she was the one who had opened her mouth to the prawn that Lin Jie had passed to her. So, she was actually the one who asked him to feed her? Shuyao suddenly wished that there was a crack in the ground so that she could hide in it. How embarrassing. How could she make such a bold request of him? This was a case of seductive beauty. No, delicacies. Shuyao squatted on the toilet bowl and tried to cheer up her mood. After confirming that she was thick-skinned enough to pretend that nothing had happened earlier, she finally walked out of the bathroom. The mess on the table had been cleaned up. Even the takeout boxes were gone. Shuyao thought that Lin Jie must have gotten the waiter to take it away while she was daydreaming in the toilet earlier. It was already very late, so in order to avoid any awkwardness and get the night over with as soon as possible, she pointed to the bed where Lin Jie's phone was charging and said, "You can sleep on that bed." Chapter 482. Perhaps it was because he was really tired. After replying to her, he walked over to his bed. There were 2 beds in the hotel room, and even though Shuyao was alone, she had ruined both of them. What she meant by ruined was that when she was dressing up for her Adonis, she had scattered her clothes all over the place. Lin Jie noticed that there were quite a few pieces of Shuyao's clothes on the bed, but he didn't mind it. He casually reached out to tidy up her clothes before placing them on the sofa by the side. But as he was tidying up her clothes, his movements suddenly came to a halt. Shi Yao had forgotten that she had scattered her clothes all over the place. After chatting with Lin Jiej, she had gone to grab her phone to play with, so she didn't pay any attention to what Lin Jiej had done. It was only when she inadvertently caught sight of Lin Jiej, who was standing motionlessly by the side of the bed, that she couldn't help but turn to look at him curiously. Lin Jiej was staring at a certain spot on the bedsheet, and there was an indescribable peculiar expression on his face. His cheeks and the tips of his ears were tinged with a light shade of red. This was the first time Shi Yao had seen Lin Jiej behaving in such a manner. He seemed to be embarrassed. This didn't seem to match Lin Jiej's personality at all. But speaking of which, was there something on the bedsheet that made him so shy? Shi Yao craned her neck to take a closer look, but she didn't manage to get a clear look. Eventually, she stood up and walked over to Lin Jiej. "What's wrong?" Shi Yao asked as she was about to reach Lin Jiej's side. However, before Lin Jiej could reply, her gaze had already fallen on the bed. A pair of white underwear was lying quietly on top of the bedsheets, following which, her face began to burn up. Almost out of reflex, Shi Yao leaped over and snatched her underwear. After which, she lowered her head and slipped away from Lin Jiej's side without daring to look at him again. Due to this little interlude, the atmosphere in the hotel room became even more seductive and seductive. Shi Yao returned to her seat a distance away from Lin Jiej, but she couldn't calm her heart down no matter what. She discreetly raised her eyes to glance at Lin Jiej. "Men are much calmer when it comes to me." He's leaning against the headboard with his phone in his hand, and it seems like he's turning it on. So, should she also learn from him and pretend that nothing had happened? But when she thought of her underwear laid out so openly in front of him, she really couldn't stay calm. Shi Yao tried for a very long time, but seeing that it was ineffective, she began racking her brains to think of other ways to divert her attention. She thought for a while, then suddenly remembered that less than 111,111 had asked her to like it, but she hadn't liked it yet. Shi Yao quickly opened WeChat, found less than 111,111's moments page, and gave it a like. After she clicked on it, she realized that 111,111 had actually shared it with her WeChat moments about a discount event that had garnered a lot of likes. A tycoon like Mr. Numbers was actually interested in something like a discount? Even a nouveau riche knew how to live better than her. What a shame. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao clicked on the link to take a look out of curiosity about what Mr. Numbers was going to buy. 48 likes, 99 yuan box underwear to take home. She was trying to divert her thoughts because of her underwear. How did she end up mentioning her underwear? Chapter 483. Women's underwear? Mr. Numbers is a man, so why would he buy women's underwear? It can't be that he has some sort of unhealthy fetish, right? Shi Yao couldn't help but reply to less than 111,111. "I've given you a like. Yao loves ice cream, but why did you buy those things?" After Shi Yao's WeChat message was successfully sent, Lin Jiej's phone rang several times. Shi Yao couldn't help but glance in Lin Jiej's direction. Lin Jiej first tapped into Shi Yao's message, and after seeing the content, a slight frown appeared on his forehead. Then, he rushed over to his moments page to take a look. When he saw what he had bought from the likes, 3 words immediately surfaced in his mind. What the heck? Why are there so many scammers around him? With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej returned to his messages page and typed a few words back to Shi Yao. "I bought it for my elder sister." Who sent this message to Lin Jiej? Why does he look like he's gnashing his teeth? If you don't know how to speak, don't say it. It's really immoral to infuriate someone. While Shi Yao was deep in thought, her phone suddenly vibrated. Lowering her head, she saw that it was Mr. Numbers' reply. Shi Yao thought that it was real, but she still couldn't help but ask curiously, "You have an elder sister too?" After she successfully sent the message, Lin Jiej's phone rang with a ding-dong. Shi Yao didn't pay too much attention to it. Her thoughts were still on the underwear. However, Mr. Numbers and Lin Jiej both had elder sisters, but one of them was able to calmly buy his elder sister's underwear on his moments page, whereas the other blushed when he saw her underwear. She really didn't expect Lin Jiej to have such an innocent side to him. In comparison, It seemed like she was even more shameless than him. Soon, less than 111,111, question mark. Perhaps fearing that she wouldn't understand, 111111 quickly added, "Why do you ask? Yao loves ice cream. It's because I know a person who's pretty rich just like you. He also has an elder sister, but she's a really good person. She's really beautiful and capable too. The word goddess is tailored just for her." A second after Yao pressed send, Lin Jie's phone rang with a ding-dong. Seeing that it had happened twice in a row, Yao couldn't help but take another glance at Lin Jie. This was probably referring to him, right? However, her evaluation of him was only the word quite rich, and the comments on Lin Jie were super good, super beautiful, super capable, and it even included that she was a goddess. Was the difference in treatment so obvious? With a chuckle, Lin Jie replied, "From what you said, it sounds like you like his elder sister more than him?" Huh. The expression on Lin Jie's face seemed to be even more furious than before. Was the person who sent the message to him the same person from before? He had already angered her, so why didn't he know how to restrain himself? He really had no EQ. Yao shook her head with a sigh before lowering her head to look at less than 111,111's reply. Lin Jie versus Lin Jie? Without any hesitation, Yao replied, "Of course. Big Sis is a great person. It's not that I like Big Sis more, I like Big Sis the most." Then, Lin Jie's phone rang with a ding-dong, following which, Lin Jie threw his phone out. Chapter 484. Did the person who messaged him earlier infuriate him to such an extent? That person isn't just lacking in EQ, he's also lacking in IQ. Yao looked at Lin Jie with a hint of pity in her eyes before lowering her head to look at her phone. Mr. Numbers still hadn't replied to her message, and she still couldn't fall asleep because of Lin Jie. With this thought in mind, Yao sent a message to less than 111,111. "Do you want to play?" The phone that Lin Jie had tossed onto the floor suddenly rang with a ding-dong. Yao glanced at Lin Jie's phone before turning to look at Lin Jie, only to see that he wasn't responding at all. He's really infuriated. To think that he wouldn't even look at his message. Who would have thought that Lin Jie would have such a backbone? Barely after this thought formed in Yao's mind, the expressionless Lin Jie suddenly rolled off the bed and picked up his phone. This. Is it too late for me to take back my words? Yao discreetly raised her hand to touch her face, feeling a deep pain in her heart. The cell phone in her palm received a new message. Less than 111,111, coming. Yao replied with a cute emoji before exiting WeChat and logging into the game. Lin Jie, who had been tormented by Lin Jie, wasn't in a hurry to log into the game. Instead, he stared indignantly at the message that Yao had sent him. "Of course, Big Sis is a great person. I don't like Big Sis more. I like Big Sis the most. Most. After staring at it for a while longer, he sent Yao a message indignantly. As Yao was busy playing, she had already put on her earphones, so Lin Jie didn't hear the notification on her phone. However, it didn't take long for her message to appear on his screen. Sure. Lin Jie sent the question that he had prepared in advance. If the big sister you like and your favorite snack fell into the water at the same time, who would you choose to save? This question is actually very simple. Without any hesitation, Yao replied, "Save the snack." That's because Sis Jai knows how to swim, and not only that, she even has a diving certificate and knows how to surf. With such thoughts in mind, Yao could vaguely hear the sound of a notification ringing through her earpiece. She subconsciously shot a glance in Lin Jie's direction. Lin Jie, who had no idea what was going through Yao's mind, saw her instantaneous reply, and his mind was instantly healed. So what if Lin Jie abused him? Didn't he still lose to snacks? He really didn't have anything to gloat over. After all, he was the one who suffered the most. Lin Jie found his earphones and stuffed them into his ears. Before entering the game, he sent a worrisome message to Yao. "It can't be that, you like my sister?" What would he do if Soft Bun replied that he was? Placing righteousness before family. Soon, Lin Jie received Shi Yao's reply. What nonsense are you spouting? My sister and I are friends. Do you understand friendship? Friendship can never become love. It's impossible for friendship to turn into love. All right then, as someone who hasn't become Soft Bun's lover yet, I can accept the temporary importance of Lin Jie's friendship to Soft Bun. Having been completely healed, Lin Jie replied with 2 words, game, before entering the game. Chapter 485. Did the person who had angered Lin Jie earlier come back to coax him? It seems like his mood has improved for the better. It seems like that person isn't hopelessly stupid after all. At least he can still be saved. While Shi Yao's thoughts were running wild, she saw 111,111's message. She knew that he was asking her to meet him in the game, so she didn't reply to him and entered the game. Lin Jie and Shi Yao were in the same room. Afraid that Yao Loves Ice Cream would find out that less than 111,111 was his account, Lin Jie chose to turn off the game's microphone before inviting Yao Loves Ice Cream into the party. After Shi Yao entered, Lin Jie instinctively wanted to start the game. But before his fingers could even touch the screen, he vaguely heard Shi Yao's voice. As he was wearing an earpiece, he couldn't hear her clearly. But soon, her voice sounded from the other end. Wait a moment. Lin Jie thought that Shi Yao had something to do, so he raised his head to look at her, only to see that she wasn't moving at all. Frowning, he was just about to retract his gaze and type out a message to ask her what was wrong when he noticed that her lips were moving, and her voice sounded from the other end. I'm going to invite a friend over. Right after she said those words, Lin Jie lowered his head and saw that there was another person in the game room. That person was playing a female character, and her name was Desolate Years of Bean Sprout TV. Bean Sprout TV, Desolate Years, 360,000 Wild Men? He hadn't gone looking for him, but he had delivered himself to him first? Heh, enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. But speaking of which, for a man to play a female character, was this the legendary Eagle Cutie? While Lin Jie was still racking his brain, Shi Yao spoke up once more. Guru, allow me to introduce you to my new friend. He's a streamer. It's one thing for you to introduce me to me, but to make such a grand introduction. Lin Jie felt the vinegar jar in his heart churning. Yao Loves Ice Cream. Do you know of Bean Sprout TV? Desolate Years is on that platform. He's a big streamer with hundreds of thousands of fans. He knew about Bean Sprout TV. After all, the boss of Bean Sprout TV was very polite to him. However, he didn't know about Desolate Year. As for the big streamer, that was even more ridiculous, right? Did Soft Bun misunderstand the meaning of the word big? Hearing Shi Yao's worshipful introduction, Lin Jie felt the vinegar jar in his heart churning once more. Desolation asked, Dad, who is he? Daddy? Lin Jie frowned. Is he calling me daddy? Haha, you're quite a sweet talker. However, it's useless even if you call him grandpa. With such a thought in mind, Lin Jie typed a question mark on the screen and sent. Question mark? Yao Loves Ice Cream explained. He's calling me daddy. Lin Jie. Yao Loves Ice Cream. 2 days ago, when we were playing the game, he was defeated by someone, and he shouted for me to save him. As long as I can save him, he'll call me daddy. I succeeded in saving him, and that's how things ended up. Desolation, that's right. It's exactly like what Daddy said. It was not too long ago that Soft Bun said that she was his husband, and now she was calling him Daddy. Was there a desire to be a big brother hidden beneath her soft and adorable exterior? Chapter 486. Yao Loves Ice Cream. Oh, he. Before Shi Yao could finish her words, Lin Jie swiftly tapped on the screen twice and said, I'm your mother. Perhaps Desolation was in the midst of drinking water, but Lin Jie choked on his words and coughed violently. Pa sounded from Shi Yao's side, as if something had fallen to the ground. Lin Jie calmly raised his head and shot a glance in Shi Yao's direction. It was her phone that had fallen to the ground. Desolation finally stopped coughing, and with a doubtful tone, he asked, Mom? Picking up her phone, Shi Yao heard his words and said, if we look at it from the perspective of the game world, he's right. After saying those words, Shiryao added, he and I are lovers in the game. We're online friends, and we were randomly matched when we were playing games. Why did she act so solemnly when she introduced the 360,000 wild men, but when it came to him, she acted so perfunctorily? Lin Jie's jealousy continued to churn. Desolation? Oh, so the two of you don't know each other in real life either. Yao loves ice cream. That's right, that's right. Heh. What does it have to do with you whether we know each other in real life or not? Besides, he and Softbun didn't just know each other in real life. They were already family before they were even born. Alright? With this thought in mind, Lin Jie typed another sentence on the screen. Darling, can we start the game now? Choking coughs sounded from Desolation. S sighed once more. Yao's phone fell to the ground once more, and Pa echoed once more. In contrast to the duo's loss of composure, the culprit, Lin Jie, calmly glanced at Yao, who was bending over to pick up her phone. It was fortunate that she was sitting on a carpet, or else her phone would have been destroyed by now. While Lin Jie was deep in thought, Desolation suddenly spoke up, hubby, why you two really know how to play. Yao loves ice cream. Also spoke up, to that's enough. Hearing the two of them stumbling around, Lin Jie glanced at his phone screen and saw Desolate Years, who hadn't even started playing after entering the room. Thus, he typed a few words on the screen. Son, get ready. The sound of choking coughs came from Desolate Year again. By the side, Yao's hands trembled. It was fortunate that she managed to hold onto her phone firmly, preventing it from falling to the ground. Lin Jie leisurely leaned against the headboard as he leisurely tapped on the screen. My apologies, it slipped out of my mouth. Desolation, who had recovered from the shock, stammered, no, it's okay. Then, the screen quickly showed that Desolation was ready for the game. Lin Jie didn't bother typing anymore. Instead, he chose to start the game. After entering the island, while they were in the process of finding teammates, Yao loves ice cream. Suddenly asked, where are we going to jump? Desolation? Answered without hesitation. Of course it's jumping into your heart. Yao didn't say a word, but she chuckled softly. Her laughter was sweet and gentle, but it made Lin Jie's heart skip a beat. It was exactly the same as what those two guys described. Sure enough, what they said was really coquettish. Chapter 487. Lin Jie forced himself to calm down and log out of the game. He logged into Bean Sprout TV and searched for Desolate Years, only to see that he was currently streaming. He turned on the voice chat, and his fans in the live stream room heard his conversation with Yao. Quite a few of them were spamming the bullet screen furiously. Nian Nian, you're flirting with my goddess again. Nian Nian, you've changed. You've become even more coquettish. Nian Nian, hurry up and get my goddess to say a few more words. Her voice is really nice. I think my ears are already pregnant. Ha ha ha, I'm jumping into your heart. Nian Nian, are you trying to become Yao Love's ice cream sweetheart? Is our Nian Nian going to grow up? Is he going to marry a wife? No, he's not marrying a wife. He's marrying a father. Ha 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 ha, I forgot that Yao loves Nian Nian. Holy shit, this relationship sure is messy. I'm already imagining a huge scene. The bullet screen was flooding in quickly, but Lin Jie still managed to catch a few keywords with his eyes of discerning truth. Flirting, sweetheart, marrying a wife. Sure enough, a streamer will have a certain type of fan. What did they do to him as their mother? The vinegar jar in Lin Jie's heart was no longer flipping row after row, but row after row. It was so sour that his teeth were aching. He tried his best to maintain his composure and returned to the game without batting an eyelid. The system had already matched them with their teammates, and the three of them were already on the plane. Perhaps it was because she hadn't decided on where to jump, but Yao loves ice cream. Spoke up once more, if you aren't sure where to jump, I'll mark it Desolate Years. All right, Daddy. Desolate Years. It's best if you mark it on me, and you'll be able to fly to my side. Good. Very good. Lin Jie looked as if he hadn't heard anything as he stared intently at his phone screen, but his heart had already turned into a world of ice and snow. After the three of them landed on the ground, Desolate Years spoke up once more, Daddy, I have a 4x scope and an 8x scope. How about I give you a 4x scope? Yao loves ice cream. Seemed to be overjoyed. Sure, sure. Desolate years. Do you know why I didn't give you an 8x scope? Yao loves ice cream. Why? Desolation. Because I have to aim at you with the 8x scope so that I can see your heart more clearly. Where's the knife? Where was his 40-meter broadsword? He wanted to slaughter this unfilial son alive. Lin Jiej's frigid heart was ablaze with a blazing flame. Seducing his girl right in front of him, this was a blatant slap to the face. He could seduce him, but he could not seduce his girl. If I don't take revenge, I'm not a man. He would just wait and see. 15 minutes later, the three of them entered the semi-final circle unscathed. Then, they bumped into a squad near the blue circle. Desolation. Dad, hide well. Watch how I beat them. Yao loves ice cream. Sure. Then she hid behind a big rock, crawled into the grass, and hid herself well. As the two squads were relatively close to one another, Desolate Years wielded his M416 and fired at one of the players in the squad. Lin Jiej wasn't in a hurry to open fire. Instead, he waited for Desolate Years to fire several shots at that player, and just as that player was about to fall to the ground, Lin Jiej raised his gun and knocked him down. Chapter 488. After successfully stealing Desolate Year's head, Lin Jiej didn't fire again. Then, when Desolate Year raised his gun to aim at the second member of the team, Lin Jiej waited for Desolate Year to land a few shots, and just as he was estimating that the other party didn't have much health left, Lin Jiej raised his gun and successfully stole another kill. Just like that, the entire team of 4 was annihilated. Lin Jiej had successfully snatched 4 heads from Desolate Year's hands. Didn't you say that you're going to pummel the enemy? But now, you don't even have a single kill. Isn't it embarrassing? Lin Jiej was already equipped with godly equipment. After mocking Desolate Year in his heart, he exited the game and sneaked over to Desolate Year's livestream on Beansprout TV. Just as he expected, the bullet screen in Desolate Year's livestream exploded once more. Wah, who is Nian Nian's teammate this time? He's actually that amazing? That's right, that teammate named 111,111 took down 4 kills. Nian Nian is going to get a chicken dinner without doing anything. Ha ha ha, this little big brother is really 666,666. Why do I feel that this name is so familiar? Top floor, it sounds familiar too. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. Oh, I know, I remember now. It's the second place on the leaderboard, second only to God Legend. Heck, I just want to take a look, and he's really the second place. He's a true god. Worship God, I love you. I love you too. Worship God +1. Worship God +2. Worship God +10086. Seeing that the bullet screen had been successfully shifted to him, Lin Jiej returned to the game with a satisfied look. Aren't you very capable? Trying to steal my soft bun? Fine then. I'll steal the limelight from his fans first. Next, I'll show him what true trickery is. But before I show him what true skill is, I have to kill Desolate Year first. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej opened his scope and scanned his surroundings. There were 2 in the east and 3 in the southeast. Lin Jiej put away his gun and glanced at Desolation Year's location on the map, after which he controlled his in-game character to hop over to Desolation Year's side. Desolation Year and Yao were currently lying in the bushes, licking the bags of the 4 men he had just taken away. Even though the bullet screen in the live broadcast room was already revolving around him, Desolation's dirty words did not stop coming out of his mouth. Daddy, do you want a 3rd level bag? Yao loves ice cream. Yes. Desolation. What about the level 3 helmet? Yao loves ice cream. Yes, yes. Desolation. What about the medicine packets? Yao loves ice cream. Yes, yes, yes. Desolation. Then, as Desolate Year's voice sounded, Lin Jiej abruptly fired 3 shots at the 3 people in the southeast direction. Each of his 3 shots only hit the target once, but if he didn't kill them, he would move on to the next person. Desolation. Following desolation year. S-words, Lin Jiej, who was done flirting with the three people in the southeast direction, stood up and controlling the screen, he leaped down the slope at the back. Chapter 489. As desolated year and Shuyao were busy looting, they had no idea that Lin Jiej had already exposed their location, so they were caught off guard. Desolation, who had no idea what was going on, continued his sentence. What about? Halfway through his sentence, the words that came out of his mouth turned into, the heck? Following which, a line of words appeared on the phone screen. Unruffled hairstyle, knocked out, desolated years of being Sprout TV, with 98K. Continue? What about me? Aren't you good at saying dirty words? Keep it up. Lin Jiej, who had already fled to the southeast where the three of them couldn't see him, looked at Desolate Year, who had been tricked by him, and gloated inwardly. Yao loves ice cream. Someone's there? Yao loves ice cream. Where did he beat you up? Why can't I see him? What should I do now? As Yao's panicked voice sounded, another line of words appeared on the phone screen. Unruffled hairstyle, knocked out, Yao loves ice cream, with AWM. Seeing that Yao had fallen, Lin Jiej put away his gun and picked up a smoke grenade. Yao loves ice cream. I'm going to die too? Right after Yao said those words, Lin Jiej threw the smoke grenade in his hand accurately onto Yao's body. Soon, white smoke rose from Yao's body. Desolated Year. Throw a smoke grenade at me too. Lin Jiej didn't respond to Desolated Year's request. Desolated Year. They're starting to hit me now. Bro, hurry up and throw a smoke grenade. Only then did Lin Jiej unhurriedly raise his hand and begin typing. Desolated Year. Hurry up, Desolated Year, urged him once more, but before he could finish his words, he had already been turned into a box. A line of words appeared on the screens of the trio. Unruffled hairstyle, knocked out, desolated years of being Sprout TV, with SKS. Lin Jiej sent the message that he had already finished typing. Sorry, I only picked up a smoke grenade. He had successfully killed 360,000 wild men, and now it was his turn. Lin Jiej put away the remaining 8 smoke grenades and drew out his 98K. Then, he walked up from the bottom of the hill and scoped in while raising his hand toward the southeast. Subsequently, a row of words appeared on the screen. 111111 knocked out unruffled hair with 98K. Seeing Lin Jiej's message, Desolation, quickly replied, It's fine, it's fine. While he was speaking, Lin Jiej raised his hand once more, and another line of words popped up on the screen. 111,111 knocked out. Hairstyle is still not messy, with 98K. The smoke around, Yao loves ice cream, began to dissipate. Worried that she would be killed by the other party, she spoke up once more. The smoke bomb has run out. Should I? Before she could finish her sentence, a few lines of text popped up on the screen. Less than 111,111 eliminated unruly hairstyle with 98K. 111111 eliminated unruffled hairstyle with 98K. Less than 111,111 eliminated hairstyle is still not messy with 98K. After clearing the danger, Lin Jiej put away his gun and controlled his character in the game to leap a few times before landing by Yao's side. Bending down, he placed his hand on her head and began saving her. Chapter 490. Seeing that Mr. Numbers had come to save her, Yao heaved a sigh of relief, as if she had just escaped death in real life. Thank goodness I'm still alive. Soon, Yao was saved. She crawled into the bushes and started healing herself. While she was drinking her drink, she realized that the person who had saved her, Mr. Numbers, was actually squatting beside her, not leaving at all. Instinctively, she wanted to ask him if he had disconnected from the game. But before her words could reach her throat, a message from Mr. Numbers appeared on the screen. Hubby. Hubby. Is Mr. Numbers addicted to calling me that? Yao instinctively wanted to tell him that he couldn't let this joke go, and that she was just fooling around the last time. But just like before she could say anything, another message from Mr. Numbers appeared on the screen. I won't let you die. Yao froze. Staring at the message on the screen, she instantly forgot about the awkwardness that Mr. Numbers had brought her when he typed the word hubby. It's impossible for me to let you die. Roughly 3 seconds later, Yao replayed Mr. Numbers' words in her mind, and she could clearly feel her heart trembling a little. Even though it was just a game, and even though she didn't know Mr. Numbers in real life, she had to admit that his words had managed to seduce her. She stared at the screen, unable to react for a long time. Then, another message popped up on the screen. Less than 111,111. Let's go. The blue circle is here. Yao replied with an "oh" before climbing up from the ground. Grabbing a long gun, she followed behind Mr. Numbers, stumbling as she ran toward the safe zone. Lin Jiej was much more agile than Yao in the game. When he jumped into the safe zone, she was still roughly 100 meters away from it. He found a house and crouched inside, waiting for her while exiting the game and heading to Desolate Years' live stream. Compared to the previous 2 times, the bullet screen in Desolate Years' live stream was exploding. No, I'm going to stop being a fan of Nian Yin and fall in love with the second-rank god on the leaderboard. I can't take it anymore. What should I do? I was seduced by 111,111. His words just now were really too captivating. Husband, I can't let you die. Sob, sob, sob. I also want to be called husband like this. Am I imagining things? I actually felt that when 111,111 typed this, it was filled with domineering love and gentle protection. Are you writing a novel about a domineering CEO falling in love with a petite wife? It had to be said that the second place on the 111111 leaderboard was well-deserved. Those 3 shots just now had wiped out a team, and each shot was a headshot. There was not a single bit of useless maneuvering at all. This was amazing maneuvering. This was a god. This was awesome. Speaking of which, didn't you notice a problem? That was, if 111,111 called the goddess her husband, that meant that 111111 was the goddess's wife. Wouldn't that mean that she was a light bulb every year? Ha ha ha. So Nian Yin is just a streamer who eats dog food? Nian Yin, you're too much. It's fine if you're eating dog food, but you're taking us with you. Too much plus 1, too much plus 2, too much plus 10086. Having achieved his goal, Lin Jiej exited Desolate Years' live stream in satisfaction and returned to the game. However, Lin Jiej didn't let his guard down just because of Desolate Years' death. Instead, he focused even more on the game. Chapter 491. In the final circle, Lin Jiej managed to eliminate all 4 of them while ensuring Yao's survival, leading Yao and Desolate Year to the chicken dinner. When the words, chicken dinner tonight, popped up on his phone screen, Lin Jiej's fingers swiftly switched from the game to Desolate Year's live stream. Without a doubt, Desolate Year's live stream was filled with a flurry of cheers for him. Lin Jiej felt that as a streamer, especially one who relied on his fans to make a living, it was impossible for him to have his limelight stolen by someone he didn't know anymore. But little did he expect that when he switched back to the game room, Yao and Desolate Year would already be ready. Desolate Year was still urging him, let's start? Bro, why aren't you starting yet? Did you disconnect? Is he really that stubborn? Lin Jiej blinked his eyelids as he calmly started the game. Since he's so stubborn, I'll just let him smash his head against the wall until it bleeds. It had been 2 months since Lin Jiej had last seen Yao, and they hadn't played together, so he really wanted to kick away the super bright third wheel that was Desolate Year as soon as possible. So, when the second round started, he didn't patiently torment Desolate Year like he had in the first round. Instead, as soon as he landed, he started digging a hole for Desolate Year. The situation was like this. With Yao loves ice cream and Desolate Years in tow, Lin Jiej landed in the military base. After Yao hit herself, Lin Jiej leaped into a room, picked up a gun, and began observing the situation. When he had a rough idea of where the enemy was, he typed out a message. There's only one person in the house to the north. Desolate Year, circle around from the back. I'll cover you from the front. Let's eliminate him together, all right? Desolate Year replied without any hesitation. All right. But in truth, right after Desolate Year made his way to the enemy's camp, Lin Jiej didn't have the slightest bit of teamwork and directly logged out of the game. As expected, 10 seconds later, Lin Jiej heard Shi Yao's voice through the silent earpiece. Desolate Year, how did you die? With everything under control, Lin Jiej tapped into WeChat and sent a message to Shi Yao. My phone ran out of battery, so it switched off on its own. Yao loves ice cream. Oh, I was wondering why you suddenly disconnected. Yao loves ice cream. Desolate Year is dead, and I'm the only one alive right now. Since that's the case, why don't I back out and start anew? Lin Jiej replied with a, okay, before logging back into the game. Lin Jiej was surprised to see that Desolation Year was actually preparing again. He pretended that nothing had happened and continued to play the game. As a livestream host, it would be a huge blow to his popularity if he were to be turned into boxes as soon as he landed. At the start of the third round, Lin Jiej lured a team of 4 to Desolation, S-side, and when Desolation rushed over to help him, Lin Jiej pretended that someone was calling him and tricked Desolation once more. Chapter 492. Lin Jiej heaved a sigh of relief. It's a good thing that Desolate Year isn't so lustful that he'll abandon his career. Otherwise, if he didn't leave now, the only thing he would do in the game would be to destroy Soft Bun's phone. However, even though Desolate Year had ended his live stream, he didn't exit the game right away. Instead, he reluctantly bade farewell to Shi Yao. Desolate Year, Daddy, I can't play anymore. My friend is calling me out for a drink. I have to leave now. Yao loves ice cream. All right, bye-bye. Heh, that's a pretty good excuse. It's fine if you don't dare to continue playing, but to think that your friend is calling you out for a drink, Lin Jiej thought disdainfully as he tapped on the screen and sent an 8. The third wheel was finally leaving. It was finally time for him and Soft Bun to spend some alone time together. However, before Lin Jiej could celebrate, Desolate Year's voice sounded in his ears once more. Right, Yao, I'm calling you out for supper tonight. If you don't want to go, let's meet up again after we return to Beijing, all right? Yao, meet up again after we return to Beijing? Lin Jiej's heart skipped a beat, and he abruptly raised his head to look at Shi Yao. A conflicted look appeared on Shi Yao's face. So, Soft Bun is rejecting me? Lin Jiej's heart calmed down a little. Desolate Year noticed that Shi Yao wasn't replying, so he spoke up once more. It's like this. Isn't your school starting on the 1st of September? I have a friend from the same hometown who's studying in your school. I'm not sure if you know her, but she's Song Tian, and she's from the English faculty. Yao loves ice cream. She's my classmate, and she lives in the dormitory right next to mine. It can't be, right? Is the world really that small? The friend of a 360,000 wild man is actually Soft Bun's classmate? Lin Jiej's heart felt as if it had been on a roller coaster. Desolate Year. What a coincidence. I've arranged to have a meal with her at your school canteen on the first day of school. If you have the time, why don't you come along with her? Perhaps it was because they were acquaintances, but Shi Yao didn't reject the offer completely. Her answer was rather ambiguous. All right then, I'll look around then. If I have the time, I'll go with Tian. Lin Jiej's heart immediately sank to the bottom of an abyss. Desolation's tone was obviously much happier. Well, I'll leave first. You guys have fun. We'll contact each other later. Yao loves ice cream. All right. Goodbye. This 360,000 wild man had even buried a mine for him before he left. Lin Jiej gritted his teeth in frustration for a moment before realizing that Desolate Year had left, leaving only the two of them in the room. Lin Jiej hurriedly reined in his thoughts that had been thrown into disarray by Desolate Year. Thinking that he would deal with the other party later on, he typed, "Do you still want to play?" Shi Yao replied with an "un." Lin Jiej replied with an before starting the game. Since Lin Jiej couldn't use voice chat, there was nothing Shi Yao could say to him. Thus, the game fell silent. Roughly a minute later, Lin Jiej and Shi Yao boarded the in-game plane. While flying along the flight path, Lin Jiej sent a message, "Where should I jump?" Shi Yao continued to ignore him. Thinking that she didn't see it, he sent another message, "Hubby, where do we jump?" There was still no response. Lin Jiej raised his head to look at Shi Yao. Chapter 493. Lin Jiej couldn't help but raise his head to look at Shi Yao. The young lady was holding onto her phone, and her head was leaning against the sofa. She had already fallen asleep. Lin Jiej couldn't help but chuckle. He put down his phone, got off the bed, and walked over to Shi Yao. As he got closer, he was able to look at her a little more clearly. Beside her was a floor lamp, and the warm yellow light quietly shone on her body. It was as if a layer of filter had been added to her fair and delicate skin, making it seem as if water could be squeezed out of it if one were to pinch it in that instant. For words surfaced in Lin Jiej's mind. Creamy skin. He thought, these 4 words are probably tailor-made for soft bun. Standing by the sofa, Lin Jiej lowered his head to look at Shi Yao for a long while before he slowly bent down and gently took off the earpiece on her head. After which, he pulled her phone away from her fingers and carried her up. Lin Jiej used a lot of strength, but as he carried her into his embrace, he realized that she was really very light. Lin Jiej's eyebrows subconsciously knitted together. She has such a huge appetite, and she's so delicious. So why is she so light? She really is a panda. Most likely, she's just like a panda, unable to absorb much of the food that she eats. While Lin Jiej muttered to himself, he carried Shi Yao over to the bed that belonged to her. His footsteps were extremely slow. If it was possible, he really wished that time would stop, or that the road ahead would be endless. Lin Jiej walked over to the bed and carefully placed Shi Yao on it. Then, very gently, he covered her with a blanket. The bedside lamp was still lit, but it was a little blinding. Fearing that it would disturb Shi Yao's sleep, Lin Jiej reached out to switch it off. Just as he was about to get up to leave, his gaze couldn't help but fall on her face once more. Her eyelashes were very long, like 2 little fans. Beneath her sharp nose were lips that were the perfect shade of red. She examined her face carefully, and she was indeed very beautiful. She was even more beautiful than the first time he caught a glimpse of her in the SKP elevator. Lin Jiej stared at Shi Yao for a very long time, and a smile slowly crept up his lips. It was a little warm and doting. This was the girl he liked. So obedient, so beautiful, and so enchanting. In the past, it wasn't that he hadn't thought about what it would be like if he fell in love with someone one day. At that time, he had imagined that the girl was either very bright, very clean, very cute, or very enchanting. But at this very moment, the only name that came to his mind was Shi Yao. Bright, clean, adorable, enchanting. No matter how good the adjectives were, they all paled in comparison to the word Shi Yao. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej lowered his head slightly and whispered into the sleeping Shi Yao's ears, "It's a pleasure to meet the girl I like." After he finished speaking, he was not in a hurry to leave. Instead, he lowered his head slightly and stayed by her ear for a while. Then he suddenly chuckled and turned to look at her sleeping face. "Did you know? When I saw you today, I've always wanted to ask you something." The room was silent for a few seconds before Lin Jiej spoke once more. His voice was still very nonchalant. "Did you miss me?" After a few seconds of silence, he moved his lips again. "It's fine if you haven't. I miss you very much anyway." You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.